I think we have guests coming.
Yes, here they come. Coming to the table now. Come on, have a seat on these two here.
Sit down.
Ooh, this is the first time I tried to sit today.
From A Couple of Geeks, we have Talon and Alida who are joining us. They've spent the day here at Gods and Monsters, so they can kind of give us their impressions of what they've seen.
Hello, hello.
And if they've seen anything interesting
Oh,
here.
we got a T-shirt. Brand new T-shirt bought.
Yeah, by the way, yes, the new Gods and Monsters T-shirt, which is debuting in 10 seconds, will show up here on Facebook Live.
Man.
Very nice.
Well, I mean, they're going to see it anyway. They've already seen it.
They've already seen it.
Yeah.
I just haven't yet.
There you go.
The new T-shirts, I haven't seen those yet. I'm glad to see for the first year, for the first anniversary, they got new
Yes.
shirts.
Mine on already.
I'm
Now-
sorry, it's in a weird position to have to scoot into the chair.
Yeah,
and-
Alita's going to be fine. You may want to actually hold your microphone.
Yeah, it might be better off rather than you having to lean over into it. Look at that. You've scooted over into the shot. We are on Facebook Live with A Couple of
There we
Geeks.
are.
Talon
All
and
right.
Alida, welcome back. We saw you guys 2 months ago, maybe? You came to the show?
About a month ago, I think.
Was it a month
Yeah, it's
ago?
about a month ago.
We
Yeah.
sat over in the front corner. You visited with us.
Yep.
And last time we met with you, you told us some stories about your dad. Is your dad here?
Ooh, let me go
Yes.
find my dad.
That
Yes,
would
he
be
is.
awesome.
I'm gonna go get him.
Okay.
Todd said he saw him dressed up. He went full
Well, thanks for
Doctor Who.
joining us, Alida.
All right,
and,
that was Alida.
okay.
Thanks for joining us. You can find her on her
Don't
Facebook
leave me.
page.
Don't leave me, sweetheart.
So, what's been going on with you guys since we saw you last? Have you had any episodes up on the air? Online?
So we have done a couple of different, just small little episodes and stuff like that.
Sounds overmodulated,
Yes,
doesn't
it does.
I do
Thank
sound
you.
a little
Thank you for giving a
overmodulated.
test.
I'm
We
working on
appreciate
it.
the test.
I'm working on it.
Ooh.
Go ahead. So you've done some things.
So we've done some things. We went to MegaCon.
Yes.
Oh, yes. We went to MegaCon. We actually went out and saw a couple different movies just to make sure that we'd have something to talk about with you.
Excellent.
Because
excellent.
last time we hadn't seen.
You hadn't seen the movies that were out at the time.
Yes.
So you've had a chance to see X-Men.
Yes, we saw X-Men just recently.
Excellent.
We actually
That's something we could talk about.
we had not seen all of them. So we went back and watched First
Days
Class
of Future
and
Past
Future
and
Past.
First Class. Okay,
Mhm.
good, good. So
We
you're all
watched
caught
those. Yep.
We'll get. We'll wait till Alida comes back.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we
I
can
don't
kind
wanna-
of talk about that. She's going to go search for her dad, who is dressed up. He went full Doctor Who in this one. Will you be okay
Absolutely.
if we add another person?
Maybe.
We've got another headset. We've got another microphone. We got another chair. He may not be on Facebook Live, but he'll be on YouTube when we get that episode up
I'm
on
making
there.
no promises here.
So come on in.
She
Come in and
found
join
him.
us. We got a chair and a headset for you. You want to hand him that headset there?
Yep.
Excellent.
Okay, this is a mess.
Go ahead and scoot up a little bit. You let me know if his microphone's all right, Greg.
Yep.
How's it?
Nah.
Not too bad.
Keep on coming up.
Keep on coming.
There we go.
There
There
we
we
go.
good.
I can even hear me.
Yes.
Well, now, last time we met with Talon and Alida, they told us about, their podcast, their blog that they have, but they also told stories about you and Alida growing up with you as a dad. And I don't know how many kids had cool dads that went out and did the sci-fi thing with their kids.
Not me.
Not me?
Not your. Shit.
No, yeah. What were some of the earlier things that you made when you knew you were going to have a baby, girl or boy, didn't matter? What were some of the things you wanted to introduce them to in the sci-fi world?
Well, things like, of course, the original Star Trek
Yes.
and Star Wars, because the Star Wars was actually one of the first movies I ever saw in the theater.
Yeah.
Well,
So
me
that-
too.
77. Oh, sure. Oh,
77.
sure.
But that and Doctor Who.
Do you have any memories of like the first movie you took? What was the first movie you went to with your dad, like into the theaters?
I think it was one of the Star Trek movies. So I
Could be, I
remember
don't
the one
remember.
with the whales in the space.
4.
Oh.
Star Trek
Star
4.
Trek.
No, that was
That's my
hilarious.
Oh, that was good.
Star
No,
Trek
that
That's
was-
my
4.
earliest movie theater memory.
Bet you can
So I don't know if
remember.
that was the first, but that's my earliest.
Directed
Five.
by Leonard Nimoy, if I'm
5
not
was the
mistaken.
crap show.
Yes,
5
correct.
was awful.
So that was a good experience, and if you saw it in a full theater, I just remember the crowd loving that movie when it came out. Just the joy of seeing them on the bus and interacting with the 1986
Oh,
people.
that's right.
on
That's
the
when
bus.
they
Yeah,
went
yeah. It was
back
just-
into the past.
It was great, and they saved the whales, and that's a great first Star Trek movie theater experience, I imagine. Yes.
I think that was the first Star Trek movie I saw.
Art, what was
I'm
what
much
year was
younger,
that?
though.
1986, I want to say. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about
Interesting.
right for
That-
Star Trek 4, Voyage Home.
Back to the Future came out
1985.
the year before.
Yes.
A lot
Time
of-
travel.
A lot of time travel.
Time
into
travel
the-
movies were big right
Yeah.
around that time. Yes, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just had another one, and I just lost it, just like that. But Time
Time
travel.
Cop.
Time Cop.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Yes, no.
Time Cop.
But so, what were your experiences growing up as a child when it came to the sci-fi universe?
Actually, I didn't have any.
Okay, so you kind of developed it on your own as an adult.
Right. Yeah. As a kid, we were a pretty kind of very conservative family, and even books were either historical novels or like animal books, or it had to be true. So those kind of things. But I went to college, and the first actually fantasy book I ever read was The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yes.
And then The Lord of the Rings followed right after that. And then there was the first science fiction book I ever read was the C.S. Lewis's his space trilogy, Out of the Silent Planet, Imperial Andrea, and those. So I was hooked.
Yep.
And then, of course, Star Wars. Right,
Star Wars sent us all over the top.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. That was done.
So you've got Star Wars and Star Trek. I think Alida also said a big family thing for you guys was the Next Generation, Star Trek. We'd watch that together. That was a big deal. That was something Greg and I did in college together because it was on at that time. And we would do that as a group. But it never crossed my mind to think of that as like a father-daughter type thing. All right, everybody gather around the TV. Next Generation is on, so that's cool. And at that time, when Next Generation was on, I don't know if we had opportunities to watch the original Star Trek unless it was in syndication. I don't know. Were you introduced to Next Generation first and then went back to see the originals?
No, we watched the originals, and I think it was like Monday through Friday at the same time every day.
Yeah, they had reruns.
So we watched them every day.
Imagine
Come home from school.
See, now, like me today, me and my girls, we watch Next Generation on Netflix all the time. So we get to do those things that I didn't do, but you guys were doing it right around the same time I wasn't doing those things. So it's very cool, and I don't think a lot of families have that same experience, at least back then. I'm sure that most of them do now, where they have that experience as a family getting into the sci-fi universe. Everything look okay, or did it cut off? This is Facebook. We're on Facebook Live.
Oh, yeah.
But we are also, the little red light blinking there is for YouTube. That'll be for our normal YouTube show that we do, celebrating our 100th episode this week.
Woo!
Yes.
There you go. Yep.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I see it. I'm seeing it live, yes. Now I'm going to wave my hands and see 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. We're only on a 4-second delay right now on live on Facebook. That's pretty amazing.
You guys are doing great. We were watching you earlier.
On the way here.
Yeah, on
Oh,
our way
really?
over
Like
here.
from your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. See, people were
It does
watching.
work.
That's good. It does work. So, did you guys purchase anything today?
Yes.
A couple things. Pictures.
The chair. Oh yeah. Oh, pictures like from some of the artists.
Some of the
Yes.
artists and
Okay, good.
and with the project.
Yeah, the project.
They're doing it real good.
The
Yeah.
professional photos, yeah.
Good. I'm glad
We
to
got
hear
a
that.
couple
That
of
people are.
Dab, we got a couple of Talon, and of me, and
Do you have anything you can
they're
show
really
us?
Nice.
What do you have? Anything?
We actually have.
They're holding on
them
to
over
ours
there.
right
Oh, they're
now.
holding them for you. I see. I see. That's cool. Have you now? You've been to Gods and Monsters before
Oh yes, we were here a year ago.
for the grand opening.
For the
Okay,
grand
you were here. We were right here in this spot. What we could have gotten your impression on things back then. But
Blown by.
tell us about what it's like for you to come through the doors here, and what are some of the first things that you notice from your childhood or young adulthood that stand out? From either any of the three of you.
Well, definitely. I mean, I just love the aesthetics in here.
Yeah.
Like you look over to the side and you have Arkham Asylum. You have their Arkham Asylum receiving. Over in the back, you got the Transmet Gallery. Back towards the back, probably my favorite area is the Nostromo part of the bar area, the Off-World Lounge. Of course, lounge is an acronym for something, but no one knows.
I noticed that too on the
didn't
webpage.
know that.
There's a period next to each letter in
Yeah.
lounge.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to try and figure out what that is. I've
We
never
keep
asked.
asking,
Did you
nobody-
ask?
Yeah,
No
we
one-
keep asking. Nobody knows. Not even the staff.
Yeah.
Spider probably knows.
Maybe the guy who was just making the logo just got bored and was putting the period in between. It's like, let's just mess with them and they'll try and figure out what it stands for. So growing up, teenager, young adult, we didn't have anything like this. We had comic book stores, it had the dusty old editions and stuff like that. And we just didn't have that kind of an experience here. What's the experience like for you to come to a place like this?
Well, for me, of course, not growing up with it, a lot of it is, well, since, I'm a little older. Hello again. We're back.
We're
Okay.
back.
My
Welcome
mistake.
back.
No, just kidding. Welcome back. So, for me, it's just neat to watch people and to see the interactions. And coming back here this year and last year, just a steady, flow of people
people.
coming through. It's
Yeah.
just so neat. that.
Yeah, I love that, and I do that too sometimes when we take a break and you go and somebody walks in for the first time and you see that expression like, oh, look at that, and they're taking pictures, and it's like, it's cool to these people. They're seeing it for the first time.
Speaking of people that are taking pictures, right behind us, this is Christian from Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Christian from Legend of the Traveling TARDIS,
Yeah,
yes.
one of our friends on Facebook here.
Do you have a booth set up here, or you're just here visiting Gods and Monsters? Oh, just walking up just to say hi.
No, he's not here at a booth today, but you can find him. He is part of the Mark Who 42 podcast.
Okay.
Look at the
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Tell me.
Hence the t-shirt.
Oh, okay, that's the shirt there. There you're on
Uh-huh.
Facebook.
Hey, we don't have T-shirts.
We've got your shirt here on Facebook Live right now, and it's Mark Who 42.
Yep.
Is the name of the podcast? Is that a weekly or a weekly podcast? Everybody's got a podcast.
Yeah, well,
They're on Krypton Radio too, I think.
Krypton Radio.
Yeah.
That's some excellent reception. If
Yeah,
you can get that
damn.
here on Earth,
Right?
Oh, that's awesome.
we're not even syndicated outside of this.
I know, out of this building, I don't think. Funny enough, of all the podcasters we've interviewed, we're actually not a podcast. We're just a web show, I guess, because we're on YouTube and we're on Facebook.
Oh, because
We've
you guys aren't actually on podcasts.
we're
we're
not
not.
really a podcasting because all of our shows they're video podcasts, so we're just up on YouTube. I guess that's
That's
just a web show.
how me and her, we say blog, but we actually don't have like any written thing. It's
Right.
just a bunch of videos.
Right, it's just a
We're
series of videos.
We're a podcast, but we identify as a web show.
Yes. Oh, very good. And
Too
I would
soon.
like a separate bathroom saying so, if that would be all right.
And a T-shirt.
Yes, actually, very good, very topical with that one, Greg. So, if you were to have an episode of A Couple of Geeks coming out, what would the next episode be about? You have something lined up?
We were
Today.
talking about this. Yeah, it's going to be stuff from today
Stuff
for
from
The
sure.
today.
anniversary.
Good.
We've got still have a lot of stuff to post from MegaCon. There's
Hey,
still
one.
a lot of video we haven't finished yet, and
You shoot any video today?
we have been. Yes.
All right.
Yes, we have.
So I
Good.
think that's our main things right now. We don't know. We don't really have so much of a. We kind of fly by the seat of our pants for the most part, so we don't really.
I know
have
what that
a whole
feels
lot
like.
of-
We have a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of people that want to partner with us about stuff. We were talking with the guys over at Extra Life Gaming about doing some live streams, gaming for charity, which is great. I'm a big fan of like 80GQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, and they raise a lot of money for charity just playing video games. These guys are amazing when you see them. Like I said, I think we have a lot of ideas of stuff to do. It's
gotta
just
get
a matter
to
of
it.
getting the time to do it. Like I said in the last episode, we have a lot more time now.
Oh, here's some of the items you guys
here's
purchased
some of those
today.
photos. Yeah.
We can clearly see that up on the YouTube, but maybe we'll bring it over here
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can see it for Facebook Live. Wow, that's cool.
So that's the picture from the project.
That's outstanding. Did you sit and have to pose for that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
They
Stan.
take, they take the
Well,
pictures
Stan.
for free, and then you purchase the prints.
I'm waiting for the delay. That's
beautiful.
excellent. And then was this from one of the other local artists here?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm glad to see people purchasing items from the artists that come here because they take the time, they get the booth here, and you hope people are seeing what the local artists are doing, and they are. That's good because you're not the first to come up here and say we purchased some art today. So I'm very
that's-
happy to see that.
And that's great, and that's why they're going to continue to ask people to come back and have these special events. And the artists will continue to come back if they're making sales and they're getting their product out there and eyes on it, where they wouldn't get this kind of exposure.
That's just like at a convention too, like at MegaCon or AFO or anything like that.
Yeah, we keep saying that every one of these big events that they do is almost like a small
Oh yeah,
MegaCon.
very much. This feels like a convention.
Yep.
Absolutely, with
there's-
all the booths, all
booths
the cosplayers.
are all set up. You got to walk all the way around the store, and you spend a couple hours here. Yeah.
For sure.
There's this nice community of like sharing creative ideas and the geek worlds and the community and the vibe here. Like that's I think what I love the most about this place, which is different than other comic book stores. So you walk in a comic book store and they already kind of have their community, their kind of friends, and you're an outsider
They're in
walking
a clique.
in.
You're right. There's a
The
clique.
guys in the
Here
back
it's-
playing Magic the
You're an
Gathering.
outsider. You walk in and you immediately feel like family, like you're part of this world. And even if you have questions, I've never felt stupid or dumb asking a question here. Everyone's been always open because there is so much to this world and this store. There's
Right.
a lot represented here in the geek world. So like comic books was kind of a new thing for me. It was something that I always wanted to get into but never had an outlet to, and I've felt very comfortable being like, hey, where do I start? Who do I read? What do I read? What's good? What's not? Because there's a lot to, and I've always felt that they've treated me.
They,
Very
like
well
a
there.
human
They're
being?
good.
Yeah.
They're good about finding comics for the beginner. Like, oh, you haven't done this before. You know, you should start here. Or point you in this direction. Is there anything that, since you're not like you don't have a big history with comic books, What is it that you found that has interested you so far?
Right now, I am obsessed with Attack on Titan. So I've just finished reading book 10.
Okay.
So now I have to spend more money and buy more books.
There's a lot of other material out there. Attack on Titan, also, right? There's a few animated series and
there's the
and a
animated
movie.
series. There's a movie
and
out.
I read the manga first. I wanted to do that first before watching the animated series because I didn't want to be spoiled with the surprises. And now I'm past the series, so I now know more than Talon does because he hasn't read them. So
Yeah, I
I can't
haven't
talk
read the
to him
mangas
about
yet.
it anymore. I have to get him to read these now.
Yeah.
And there's a movie coming out sometime, I
think it was released, just not in America because they don't think that.
We need to look this up because I want to see it.
Was there? Did I hear talk of maybe a live-action Attack on
Yeah,
Titan?
Yes.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
it's a Japanese movie, I think.
Yes.
I believe it's done. Unlike the initial D movie, which was done in China, but was actually a really good movie. That was one of my first
I didn't know it had been released or finished or released or anything like that. I think what I remember seeing is just like a teaser.
There's
Yeah,
like
I
a
saw that
trailer.
too. I saw the teaser and then I saw a more teaser, but it looked like an official preview.
Yes.
But I don't know whether it was released or not. That's the only bit too. Yeah. So we're all in the dark on this.
Maybe it's come and gone and we didn't even know.
No.
That's what I very well could.
I don't think it
I
would
don't
have been
know.
buried like that. And there's too many people into that scene that it would have.
Somebody
heard
would know
more
about
buzz.
it. Yeah.
And very rarely does something of that kind of popularity gets released in Japan and it doesn't get released over here, at least in limited release or whatever.
You make a good point there.
So Alida's told us about her comic books that she's interested in. What do you have, Talon, that you're kind of reading right now?
Well, right now I am still trying to get through Transmetropolitan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of our good friends, Paul, who cosplays Spider Jerusalem, he's here today. He also cosplays Pyramid Head. He's an amazing Pyramid Head.
I think has he been
Does
here
he do
before,
that
dressed
here?
up as Pyramid Head?
Yes.
I'm thinking he
Yeah,
has,
I've seen
yeah.
him.
He's the really tall one with the
Oh, yeah.
massive sword. It's
Yeah.
in my car right now. I'm
Kind
trying
of
to
hard
return
to
it
miss.
to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to get through Transmet. I'm issue 5 of 10 right now. Trying to get through that. It's of course just trying to find time between work, going and doing other things and work.
and then, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Joe.
Joe, I'm sorry, Joe. Are there any comics anything new that you're reading right now, or anything you've been getting into comic book wise?
Well, a little bit with Doctor Who,
Doctor Who?
and they again because
Really?
of
Are
my
you kind of into Doctor Who?
just a
bit,
little, just
yeah.
a little.
Okay.
It's kind of a 40-year love, It's
All right. I didn't
been
really
around for a
didn't
while.
really notice, but okay.
but it's funny because for me, comic books is interesting for me to read because I'm not used to it because
Right.
I'm used to books.
Right.
I'm
Not used to
and-
getting the pictures with it.
Right. And when I first started reading them, I would just pretty much skip through the pictures and I'd be
And
just
just
reading
do
the
the
words.
reading, right. It's hard
And,
to do.
About 30 seconds later, it says, "Oh, I'm done."
Then you go back and enjoy the photos. Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not
Right.
used to reading comics, you're used to reading words. You just go words, next
Words.
page.
Right.
And then not appreciating. I'm sure the artists love to hear that. That's
No,
great.
I'm learning to slow it down though and
That's
pay
good.
attention to it.
So Doctor Who, the Doctor Who's that are out right now, the comic books, are they of the current Doctor Who, or do they do throwbacks to?
Or are
a
they a
little bit.
completely
Some-
different story altogether?
Well, some of those, like the ones we got here at the Free Comic Book, and the series that Titan's doing, I think it's Titan. There was the Paul McGann, which I've been waiting because they've had #1 here.
You're waiting for the
and
next issue.
The next
Yeah.
issues, that they haven't been stocked yet. So
Tis the life of waiting for comics to
Yes.
come out.
Yeah.
And I've asked you before, Greg, because you were reading Saga, I believe, for a
I
while,
was-
which is very popular. You familiar with
started
Saga
reading
at all?
that.
Almost
I
got
read
through
the
the
first
first
one.
book.
Yeah, we did a book review with some of the employees here on Saga, who they are in love with that.
Yeah,
I could see
Sarah.
that.
recommended it to
Sarah
her.
suggested
Yeah.
it to me.
I can imagine that being made into a movie or something, perhaps. Is that something you could see?
It probably could. I don't see it being less than rated R, but
Yeah.
not to do it.
Hey man, Deadpool, no problem.
They couldn't
Yeah.
they couldn't be true to the story without it being at least rated R. I don't know though. As I'm reading comics and you kind of brought this up where you're looking at the pictures and you're reading, and if you read too fast, and I thought I was pondering on whether people write comic books with the intention that it's slow, like almost like your mind is filling in extra stuff that's not being written. And if you just read the words through and you're done with the book in 15 minutes, did you really do that story a service by going through it that fast, or is it meant to slow down, look at each panel, kind of ingest that and digest that information, and then move on to the next panel? And I'm wondering if maybe that's something that took so long for Hollywood to understand, is translating from comic books to movies, where movies is just in your face for 98 minutes. And comics aren't like that. Comics are slower. They're maybe more nuanced than the movies could ever be. So I don't know if Saga could be put into a movie and translated well. It would probably be done poorly.
Depending on who Disney will acquire it, and then it will become.
Disney would never make a Saga movie.
No, it's
ever.
not there because it'd be rated R. You're right. It'd have to be Fox or somebody. So we had said the last time we saw you that summer movies are here and they're on their way. Of course, the X-Men movie is out. Is there anything between when we saw you last and now that you've seen? Was X-Men one of them?
Well,
Yep.
we saw X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
We of course we saw Civil War like the next day
Of course,
after our
you
last
saw
podcast.
us. Yes.
Now, were you offended that the villain kept strangling that blue woman?
No, actually.
In the trailer?
I haven't even talked to Talon about that yet because I've been seeing that online. I'm more
Oh,
the social
my
person,
God.
and he's more the personality.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm the face of this outfit.
Everyone loses their mind over everything.
which is
Pretty
it's
much.
ridiculous. I mean, he's a bad guy.
The story
battering
is
him.
there were billboards up where the Apocalypse
Apocalypse.
was a still frame of Apocalypse strangling
Mystique.
Mystique.
Right?
And a bunch of people went ape and decided that was promoting domestic violence, and they were forced to take it down and apologize for it.
Domestic. Is that what you think of when you think of those two, Apocalypse and Mystique? It's
Well,
domestic?
glorifying abuse against women or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. So if it had been him choking out, Professor X in his wheelchair, he would have been fine with that.
Probably.
People would have been
I
fine
think,
with that.
yeah.
But
no,
let's-
because
that's violence
nobody-
against crippled people.
Let's not even talk about the fact that these aren't actual people.
Right.
A, and she's not an actual human.
Right.
B, so I mean, come on, man. Whatever.
I think people get all up in arms about things that they're obviously passionate about.
Sure.
But
False outrage.
The internet is both awesome and awful
you said it.
because everybody has a voice, and they're almost all equal voices, and that's not the way it should be. You
No.
shouldn't have an equal voice because you're pissed off about one little thing, because now that means something, and if it gets retweeted or shared 1,000 times, now there's a whole thing against something
There's
that was never a thing in the beginning, never a
There's this
thing in the
freedom
first
of
place.
this immediate information thing. So if
Yeah.
you don't know something, you can immediately look it up and research it. But it also means that your emotions are very immediate.
Yep.
So
Yes.
then there's no thought, there's no content behind it. So
There's reaction.
Yeah.
Well, the movie came out. The reviews were kind of hit or miss about the new X-Men movie, but I went and saw it and I loved it.
I loved it too. I think this is the best X-Men movie.
I thought so too, and I'm very surprised when I left the theater. I was like, what is it people were complaining about with this
So I
movie?
liked
Yeah.
it. Actually, there was the scene earlier in the movie. I don't want to give anything away, but it was very
You should have seen it
emotional.
already.
That's right,
Well,
America.
I
You should have seen it already.
It has been out for a little while.
Yeah, we
but
didn't get to
yes.
talk about spoilers about Civil War last time because we hadn't seen it.
Now we can.
We've seen this movie. Let's talk spoilers.
So
This has been your spoiler warning, YouTube.
With Magneto and his family, that scene, everyone who's seen it will
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was very emotional. Like I was crying in the
Peter
theater.
Oh,
I was
his
like,
wife and
ah,
yes.
Captain
That was-
America is Hydra.
So terrible.
What? Spoiler? What? No. I started a meme. I put a picture of George Washington up, and it said "Hail Hydra."
Oh.
Like it goes that far back now.
That's
It's
awesome.
that far back.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah,
terrible.
the scene, very emotional scene, but it kind of lets us understand why Magneto is who he is,
And I think with this new cast, him in particular, I think he's my favorite of the core group. I think he's grasped that spirit of Magneto the best out of anybody in the cast.
he's the one who's going through the biggest emotional change throughout the movie. You know, he could go one way or the other, but then his family gets killed. So guess what? My little daughter
So
had
sad.
a little locket on, a little metal locket. No, I'm just gonna cut all your heads off.
That was as soon as I saw the locket around the girl's
Yeah, it's
neck
like, well,
earlier,
they're
I
all
was like,
dead.
oh, yep, they're gonna
Yeah, they're
die.
all dead. That was great. So, some of my favorite scenes, and my oldest daughter is 12. She was with me. We just laugh out loud with anything with Quicksilver in it.
Oh, we
He
love
is
God,
my
he is so
favorite.
funny.
I was telling Talon if there was a whole movie with just him, I would watch it.
If it was just an 80s soundtrack constantly and him just going and
So, the previous movie, it was the Jim Croce song "Time in a Bottle" as he
Yeah.
was going through the room, knocking everyone out. But
was
this
the
one, it
best.
was "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics. And the next day I was at work, and my daughter, they're out of school now, so she was over at Grandma and Grandpa's house. She's like, sends me this video real quick, and it's the song Sweet Dreams, and it's her running through the house all fast. You know, like she had done the scene right from the movie. And she had on like little Quicksilver glasses. She went to the camera real fast, and the character is so funny. But for him to just, in the movie, Greg, I know you haven't seen it yet.
My ears are off.
In
hasn't
the movie,
seen it yet?
It's a small thing. Quicksilver is finally going to go see the school where Professor X in the school is.
I don't even know who Quicksilver is.
He's the guy who runs really fast.
That means nothing to
There
me
you go.
because I
So
don't
this
know
won't be
who it
a-
is.
Did you see the previous movie?
No.
Days of Future Past?
No.
But he decides to finally go to the college. You know,
What
I'm
do you
going
think
to
I
go
do?
look up
Prep
the
for this
Professor
show?
Xavier.
You think I'm? What is,
And then right as he pulls up to the house, you know, running fast, the house is in the middle of an explosion. So he goes into the house and saves everyone's life. Well, almost everyone.
Almost everyone.
And it was hilarious. At the tone of it, and just to see the explosion and moving things out of the way like he does with bullets. It's so funny. I
is
can't
it
wait to see it again.
intentionally funny?
I would have loved.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Okay,
It is.
all right.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen the storyboards for those scenes because it's so detailed. All these little things going on.
I think I read somewhere that it took like 2 months just to shoot those scenes.
I believe it.
And I try to stay away from stuff on the internet regarding the movies, but I had already seen the movie, so I saw that. It said like 2 months. To think of all the things that went into that scene. Every time he'd run back to the house to get somebody, that's a week of shooting.
Yeah.
And it was just so fantastic because he runs faster than anyone can even blink an eye.
So it's like everything that's going on around him is all just slow motion.
So there's an explosion going through the house, but it's only moving this fast. So he grabs a person and runs him outside the house. Then he comes back in, and there's like these two mutants, guy and a girl, kissing. Like this guy's about to kiss this girl, and he grabs him and then grabs her. And it's just so funny and so well done.
Quick physics question.
Yes.
If you're moving that fast, and
Yes.
then you take a normal human person,
It's a really
and
good question.
move
Actually,
them that
they-
He
fast,
always grabs the back of their head so that when he grabs them and they run out, he doesn't give them
snap their-
whiplash.
snap
They
He's
talk
got
about
reference.
it in the
They actually
second movie.
covered that.
However,
You're talking about
Again.
his internal organs.
again, physics.
Yeah.
If you move somebody that fast, then the front of their face will go through the back of their head.
Probably.
Technically, yes.
Let's not look too deeply into that.
Okay.
Let's enjoy it for
Suspension of
what it is.
disbelief, Greg.
These are mutants. I get it.
But
I get
at
it.
least they took the time to. They did it in the previous movie, and they did it on this one too, where he just before he grabs somebody to run with him, he puts his hand on the back of their head because he knows, maybe through experience, that their head will probably snap off if you don't, help them with the whiplash.
All right.
So I love the movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I don't know what all the hate is about. It's not a lot of hate, just a little.
I will say, because we just watched the first two this last week.
Yeah, we kind of binge watched everything.
We were
idea.
behind on that.
It's a good idea to remind
I-
you about the woman from the first movie who he erased her memory.
Yes.
Moira.
I'd
yeah.
kind of forgotten about that, so it was probably
Yeah.
good to see those
Well,
movies again.
she was in the comic too, and,
Yeah.
and in the animated series. That's
Yep.
how I know X-Men. It was the animated series.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't really like First Class. I had a hard time with that one.
It was a little weird.
And then the
it
second
had to
one I
establish a lot.
liked, and then this one I really loved.
Yeah.
So I kind of went up, which is weird for like a series of 3 movies. Usually it's the
Gets
first
better.
one you're like, that was awesome.
Right.
I
And
really
then
like
you
the
go to next
lighthearted.
one,
I'm
but-
sorry, I'm stepping all over your
No, it's all
talking.
good.
No, it's cool. When everybody talks all at once, the meter's just gone.
But you're right. I love the lightheartedness.
There was a lot of lightheartedness. There was a lot of kind of fourth wall breaking as well, like Gene and Scott coming out of the movie theater seeing Empire Strikes Back, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the third
Third movie.
maybe the third movie is always going to suck."
They said that
Last
actually,
one, yeah.
meaning X-Men 3 was
X-Men
not
3,
so good.
and this, of course, being their third
The third
movie
one
as
as
well.
well.
yeah, yep.
So,
that-
I'm liking
the
like-
movie is set in 1983, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
because these are the prequel movies.
Right.
There you go. You're all caught up.
Yeah, there was some weird little bits with the story of like what's going on from the very end of Days of Future Past to this happening before the
Right.
very end of Days
Right.
of Future Past.
10 years later.
But I'm not gonna knock it.
Sure.
I think overall it was awesome.
Did you see the movie?
Haven't seen that one yet.
Have you
no.
seen any of the other X-Men movies?
Not for a while. Nope, I haven't seen the two that they mentioned.
See, he's just like
No,
me.
it's been a while.
That's
all right.
actually.
That's all right.
So you've seen the old ones with
The old
Patrick
ones.
Stewart.
You
and
saw the
that
old
one.
Sure.
but
The ones
not
written
of
one,
the
two,
new
and
by
three.
cast.
David Hayter and stuff.
Right.
Those I've seen.
Which that movie, the first X-Men, which came out way before like Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
X-Men came out in 2000, I think. It kind of relaunched with everything with comic books. And nobody knew for sure when it came out, is this going to be, just kind of and that's going to be it for comic book movies? Or is it going to explode? And it kind of exploded, and it launched everything from that point on. It's kind of should be grateful to the first X-Men movie, which thankfully they got Patrick Stewart. I love hearing that story that he knew nothing about it, and he asked the question, why am I on the cover of this comic book? Which meant pretty sure, oh yeah, we're definitely going to get this guy to play this character for sure.
That might be an interesting show topic one week where we talk about why or what movies we think really sparked the superhero movie
Sure.
explosion.
Ooh.
I'm going to argue that it was Iron Man.
Yeah, it was Iron Man.
And that was well after X-Men.
Yes.
And well after Spider-Man's.
I think actually 3 X-Men came out before Iron Man. Does that sound right?
That is correct, yeah. There were 3 X-Men before Spider-Man, I believe, and before Iron Man. And of course there were 2 or 3 Spider-Man movies.
That's true. I mean, the Spider-Mans came out pre 9/11.
They did, yeah.
And
I think they were kind of like spikes. Like they did well, and then it was like, no, nobody cares. And
Right.
then they did well, and then once I agree with
Iron
the
Man.
Iron Man statement. I
Iron
think that
Man.
kind of solidified that everything will do awesome.
Yes.
Right.
Like
Because
after
if
this.
Iron Man had totally tanked, that's 10 movies and a couple $1 billion Marvel
yeah.
and Disney
Yeah.
never would have gotten.
Exactly.
So-
I think we just ruined your episode, Greg.
well, okay,
There
that's
you go.
fine.
Done.
We needed stuff to talk about today anyway.
We just killed
so
that
thank
whole
you.
episode. We're done with it. That's good. So tell us a little bit more. We've talked about it in the past, but tell us a little bit more about A Couple of Geeks. Are you planning on? You said you shot some videos, or you've got some ideas, and you're going to be shooting some episodes coming up soon.
Yes.
And are you looking to expand it in any way? Doing something weekly, like a podcast or something?
We would love to. I think we
Yeah.
just kind of experimented a little bit with Facebook Live the other day, and our signal wasn't good enough, so it like froze.
It was
every
like
now and then.
frozen
Okay,
video
good.
for
I'm
like
playing around
I'm glad
that.
you were saying that
minutes.
because I wanted to ask you about your experience. We've been lucky so far, and truly, I don't know because I don't remember turning it off. Is Facebook Live Wi-Fi only, or does it go off the cell signal?
It does both.
Either,
Okay,
yeah.
that's why it's been so successful for us. We've done wrestling events here, and we've gone 3 or 4 hours, and it's been great. Now, like we did an hour and a half here, but then like some message popped up on my phone and it cut off the recording, but that was more my fault. And when we were doing the wrestling event, your phone has to be plugged in or your battery will die.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when your iPhone is plugged in, you have to remember to deactivate the Hey Siri option, because anything that sounds close to Hey Siri, the phone would shut off the video and it would like go to answer your command. So I've learned to shut that off now.
See, for mine, if that feature had been on because I have Android, even if I had said "Okay, Google," like nothing would have happened. Oh, my phone. No,
You just did it. You just did it.
No, I didn't.
No, so we played around with that a little bit. We have done some Periscope in the past, so this is very
Yeah.
similar to that. So we're familiar with live streaming.
I kinda like
however,
Periscope.
that's more like Periscope
Periscope's
is more
nice.
like world.
Yeah.
Like I
Right.
feel like you reach the world through Periscope.
We have a lot of
whereas
interaction
Facebook
through
is
Periscope.
more local. I feel
It's tricky because Periscope, we got likes and dislikes. Periscope, they shoot widescreen. Facebook Live
Yep.
is
Yeah, it
this,
is a
you
little
know,
different.
and it's like I can't get Greg in the shot on his own show, our own show,
Yeah.
and he's not in the shot. But Periscope, they let you shoot widescreen, and like you said, it's all over the world. However, Facebook Live, I'm doing Facebook Live through Gods and Monsters Facebook page. There's 10,000 people who are subscribed to their Facebook
Yeah.
page. So that's 10,000 people that get to see this pop up. That's cool. I wouldn't get that on Periscope.
yeah, Periscope you're competing with more people, and you don't know who's going to be able
Right.
to see it and who not.
If only Facebook would let me turn my phone sideways and shoot it 16:9. I'm not sure why they do that, except that they want you to see the comments
Below
at the same
it.
time they're shooting
Yeah.
it.
Well, Periscope
rather-
initially did that too, but then they allowed you to just swipe up or
Yeah.
swipe it away.
So I'm guessing eventually Facebook will get to that because the comments, I can see them here just fine on my laptop. If you let me turn my phone sideways, I could shoot the whole table and we could see more of the store.
Yeah.
So that's good. You've had some experiences with doing stuff live.
We have, and we probably will be continuing to do that, just because it's convenient.
Sure, absolutely.
One of the things we've learned from talking with a lot of different people was the more immediate content that we can give to our followers,
Yes.
the better.
Immediate content
Yeah.
is kind of crucial. You're
Like
absolutely right.
when we're out doing something, we find something amazing, like an amazing cosplay, we just got to just get video of it right then. So a lot of times what we do is we'll end up recording the video and then posting just
Sure.
the raw video.
Did you record anything from MegaCon?
Yeah, we recorded
We
a
did.
bunch. We actually put a bunch up on our Instagram. We put some on our Facebook.
We got a good album of pictures,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we've been getting a lot of likes and shares from that. Some people really liking the pictures that we got. We've been posting on Instagram and on our main page, so that's been cool because
Yeah.
there was a lot of really good cosplays this year. There was a lot that we weren't able to get
Like this
pictures of
guy's.
that we were almost like chasing people down. Kind of.
Did you go?
"Wait."
Were you there also?
I was there.
Yeah.
All 4 days.
Have you been to any of the other, like a couple of years ago, it was Celebration, the Star Wars Celebration, and have you been to anything else like that, or is MegaCon your first experience?
Actually, last year's MegaCon was our first one, and
It's fantastic.
You're
It
like
was
talking
fun.
to somebody
Yeah,
over
no,
there.
it's-
Like, what
I
was
haven't-
that?
there's
That's the
somebody-
great thing about being in the front window.
No, I
you
know,
see
it's
people.
I haven't seen him in years.
Aww.
I know, right? He was like, hey
just
man,
bonded
I'm at
through
the
the
tattoo
glass
shop
right
next
now."
door. I'm like, oh, cool.
Don't you know you can see Talon on Facebook Live right now on Gods and Monsters? If you want to send him a message, I'll see it pop right up here.
Right there. Just do it.
Yeah.
Close it up. I'll keep it
Also,
so-
if any of your anybody watching has any questions about A Couple of Geeks, please post in the comments.
Post it right here, and
Yeah.
I'll see a comment pop up right now. As a matter of fact, let me hit the refresh button just to make sure.
We're
Everything's-
happy to answer anything about cosplay or conventions or anything like
And
that.
while we're in the middle of our interview, remind everybody where they can find you once again.
Oh yeah, you guys can find us at
On Facebook.
facebook.com/a-couple-of-geeks.
Very
Instagram.
Instagram.
Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter are both a__of_geeks.
Uh-huh.
Are you finding more success with Instagram or Twitter between the two?
Instagram.
Yeah.
I feel like Twitter is a necessary evil.
I hear that a lot from people, though. You're right.
Yeah. There's just too much out there. I'm not a big fan of Twitter. However, I do find that it's important to have to kind of get your content out there.
Uh-oh.
So we kind of link everything together. But we've been doing really well. I think
Am I here? I'm here.
Instagram has been really good. But our main hub is Facebook. So if you're really looking for what we're doing, like that's where you want to follow is Facebook.
Now that we have
kinda
these options
link
to go
everything to
live
that.
on Facebook,
Yeah.
it's just so,
'cause we were
it's
doing
so awesome.
we were doing Periscope, but I think that this might be a better option for us is to do more
How many
of the
followers?
Facebook Live.
How many thumbs up do you have on your Facebook page?
We just passed 700.
700.
Hey,
That's
all
very
right.
good.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all organic, so I'm
Exactly.
very proud of that.
That's right. You've earned every one of those
Yes.
likes when you think about it. Yeah, it's not like you paid a service to get people to like your thing. You actually earned every single one of those, and it's not easy to do.
We can do
We're
that?
very proud that we have not paid for any likes.
Yeah. There's a way to pay for likes or pay
Yes,
for
of
Twitter
course.
followers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah. See, we're latched on to Gods and Monsters Facebook page. We didn't want to do a separate page because that'd be stupid. So we're on Gods and Monsters page, so we can say we've got actually one of our listeners or viewers right now, Steven, is reminding us we're not at 10,000, we're at 11,600
Hey.
likes on the Gods and Monsters Facebook page. Which
That's
I,
awesome.
Which
for
I
Gods
can
and
take
Monsters.
zero credit for,
Which
by the
we're
way.
affiliated with, but have really little to do with.
I post videos up there once a week,
Yeah.
and I get zero credit for that, and you can know that based on the fact that we only have 200 subscribers on our YouTube page. But
Yeah,
that counts.
We
That's
subscribe.
better than what we have.
It's organic, like you said. We earned every single one of those subscribers.
That's right.
That's right.
Good.
On
We're
Facebook,
very,
you guys
very
are,
thankful.
you parasitic lamprey.
That's exactly right. All right, so X-Men out now. Next is going to be, I don't know.
Well, we were kind of, I was talking about this last night. Why didn't we go see Warcraft? Oh, yeah,
Because
because
it
we don't
sucked.
like Warcraft.
there you
Oh,
go.
oh,
And that's
oh.
the problem.
You know what? Actually, I heard from a couple of people that do like Warcraft and they knew the lore. They said it was a good movie. They liked it for what it was, but they said you had to just be into it.
Right, and Greg said,
Yeah.
I believe he said it was a prequel, or it's like
A prequel to the
origin
stories.
story.
An
Yes.
well,
To what most people would know.
basically, it leads up to the reason why they're warring. I think is pretty much
Which,
why.
of course, their goal is to have a whole series of movies, but that may not be the case based on how it's doing.
It looked a little bit too CGI to me.
You know
Yeah.
what? When the first previews came out, I thought it was all CGI, even the human characters. And I
Yeah?
thought, damn, that's pretty good CGI because it had that glossed over kind of very shiny. A Warcraft movie with humans fighting orcs feels like it should be a little dirtier. Feels like it should be a little rougher, like Lord of the Rings was rough.
Yeah.
This was Pixar perfect.
Too
It was
clean.
it looked very Avatar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very interesting observation.
And that's
It's
why
too
I thought
clean.
that's why I thought everything was CGI until like the third time I watched the preview, and I'm like, wait, those are humans. Okay.
So when you see the movie poster come out, you'll see the Greg Moan quote: "Too clean."
Too realistic.
Now, we did find out that there's a character that's called Leroy Jenkins.
There is no.
Yes.
I heard
there's
not Leroy Jenkins. It was Leroy. There is a
His name
Leroy
is
in there.
Leroy?
Yeah,
Okay.
his name
Does
is
he
Leroy.
come running into the room? Something like that.
No,
Give
they
us-
said that I heard that there was a rumor that in the next movie, when they would end up going to that location, that he may end up doing that.
I would probably go see it just for that scene.
I would go see. I went to go see X-Men 3 just for the Juggernaut bit.
Right, which he was in the movie very little.
Yeah, he was very
Just
very,
the fight scene at the end. Really.
I was like, and that because that meme, the whole Juggernaut meme came out just before that movie
Before the movie,
was
yeah.
released. I was like, they had to have just gone back and filmed that.
You know what they should do? If they do the Leroy Jenkins thing, they should give out
Then they
like,
should have Keyboard Cat
promotionals
playing
with
them off.
KFC.
during the
Yeah, they
credits.
should have KFC.
with KFC Like
do
free
promos
chicken or
for
something?
at least I got chicken.
That'd be interesting. Like the next movie comes out, you think it's like 2.5 hours, but like at the 30-minute mark, the cat just comes out and the credits roll and the movie's over. Everybody gets angry. See, look, this is the reason why we had to move our tables. We were blocking the people from getting up to look at the Gods and Monsters decals for your
Those
windows and
decals
your
are
cars.
Vinyls, yeah.
amazing.
I've got some of their vinyls on my laptop.
What if the post-credit movie or the post-credit scenes of movies now become like 30 minutes long?
That-
What?
When have they?
Well, I mean, they just
Well,
they
you know,
keep
every
growing and growing.
Every
You're
Marvel
right.
film, you have post-credit scenes.
At least two.
Sometimes two.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like 4 minutes long. Well, what if they keep
Right.
getting longer and longer
Right.
and longer?
We just
I'm
put
okay
the
with
credits
that.
at the halfway point of the movie.
It's like you're forced to sit and watch all the credits, and then there's the gaffer. Oh,
We were
there's
actually
craft
just
services.
Oh, and here's the
talking
rest of
about
here's the
this
climax of the movie.
Yeah.
the other day because Talon and I, we always stay through the credits.
Yes.
We
You
don't
have
walk
to.
up until everything is done.
Yep.
And for us, it's more just a sign of respect for the people who have made
You're
the
right.
movie. But I think we just posted a video. We were just like,
Yeah.
hey, do you guys stay through the credits? Because we just recently saw Alice in Wonderland, the newest one that just came out.
Through the Looking Glass.
And we were the only
Really?
people in the theater. Like, as soon as the credits rolled, everyone left. And
Right.
we're
Everyone
like,
was gone.
where's
Well,
the
that-
going?
Could have
Good.
been because the movie
Perhaps we
wasn't
could
very
Well,
get
I mean, it's
sure.
not like there was that many
It
people
wasn't
in the
that
theater to begin with.
Right,
But
and that's
first
the
one was
problem
better.
this time apparently with this movie. Tell us a little bit about your opinions of the movie, which is not doing very well.
I keep bumping into this mic. I'm sorry.
That's right. I'm not hearing
Nah.
it if you are.
You're good.
So
We'll get that lipstick
Alice
off of
in the
it.
Looking Glass. To be honest, it
Make
felt
it
it
out
felt
with it.
disconnected from the first movie, and I think the first movie, in its feeling disconnected from everything in reality, was what made it so fun. And this whole throwback to the cartoon and the storyline from that was fun. This one did not really feel like it was attached to the first movie at all. It just felt like those same characters were there, but they didn't really feel like those same characters.
This movie was not directed by Tim Burton, correct?
I don't know.
Was the first one?
Yes, it
It
was.
was?
Yes. The first one was, so I'm thinking he maybe only produced
Yeah,
on this
so
one.
no, he was not. I don't think he was very involved at all.
Johnny Depp is just like worst month ever for him.
Oh.
He's going through a lot of stuff right now, and then that movie just didn't do well.
Yeah,
And
well.
I'm sure they'll still recoup their money. Those movies always find a way overseas and stuff, but that might be the end of it for that series.
I wonder if they'll ever make an iteration of that story from the American McGee style of telling Alice in Wonderland. Are you not familiar? There was
Is that the really dark version?
that's a very dark version. It was a video game.
Oh yes, okay, I remember
Oh,
this.
yeah.
It was creepy.
I never played it, but I always went into like the GameStop and FYE and stuff like that,
Yes.
and saw the artwork. I was like, oh my goodness, this looks so cool. It looks like Todd McFarlane toys and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite games I've ever played. It was back in the 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
Late 90s, and just the art direction, the storytelling was just really, really fascinating. And they made a sequel like 15 years later that wasn't very good, but I've always wondered what a very, very dark storytelling of that story would be like. More in line with the original Through the Looking Glass, because that was a dark story. I mean,
well,
that
it was very
written-
trippy.
Yeah, it was written pretty, evil.
Yeah.
And Disney's always kind of brightened it up a little bit, made it kind of silly. The Red Queen, this latest Tim Burton Red Queen was pretty scary and evil, but still with the big head, that's weird.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I mean, to be honest, I think the Red Queen in the cartoon was more frightening than Helena Bonham Carter.
God, I don't even remember.
Is it
the
because of the
cartoon now.
misshapen head? Did it become more comical than anything?
Well, I think she was comical for sure, but overall, like the visuals and just not exactly understanding what was going on in the cartoon when I was a child was scary to me. This whole, these past two, live action movies, the Jabberwocky should be pretty darn terrifying, but it's just not.
In the video game, the Jabberwocky was the most scary boss I've ever fought because you could barely see him, and he
That's
was
how stuff
very,
should be.
very large, very imposing, and he would just like disappear. And it's like it was crazy stuff.
See, that's why I've been really, really into the Dark Souls series of games as of late because I don't have a PS4 yet because
Same here.
Because
PS3.
money.
You
Look at him,
staring
look at him, looking at her.
me.
because I'm looking at you because you're the
He's
one
looking
who
at Alida.
you're the one who
PS3
actually has the wallet.
PS3 can't play Battlefront.
There you
can't
go.
play the Neutron game that's out.
There you
I'm
go.
just,
So I really, really, really want to play Bloodborne because I'm a big H.P. Lovecraft universe fan. I love that whole what is it? Cosmic horror genre. That's what I really, really enjoy. And so when Bloodborne came out, and I found out that was kind of the storyline to it, I was like, I love this. I want to play this.
Right.
I want to die over and over. But I couldn't, so I just started playing Dark Souls, and I've been loving Dark Souls. It's amazing.
Well, maybe we'll put an 800 number at the bottom of the screen. We'll start up a collection so that Talon can get a PS4.
Ooh, a GoFundMe.
Let's see. Nope, nobody yet. Sorry.
Darn it.
I'm the same way, though. I want the PS4. I didn't know when Battlefront for Star Wars Battlefront was going to come out. I didn't know it was PS4 only, not PS3, and I was just like, oh.
Art, you may appreciate that the soundtrack from the American McGee Alice video game was Chris Renna.
Chris Renna. I know that name.
Yep. He was the guy who did a lot of producing work with Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor with Nine Inch Nails. Wow, he did that back then in the 90s?
Huh.
Wow, that's really cool. I had no idea. Do you remember that because you remember the music from that?
I remember looking at
out?
looking at it a long time ago, and knowing that I just had to check and make sure I was correct.
Oh, my
I was about
gosh.
to say, Greg, I thought you didn't do prep work for this.
Oh, he was doing that
I'm
on
doing,
the fly.
I'm doing now work.
Right now, as we speak, he was looking that up.
So, Dad, you've been kind of quiet. So
I turned his mic down.
Did you take him to... Okay, we shut it up.
There,
Did
it's
you
up
take
now.
him to any of these movies that you've seen lately?
No, she hasn't.
No.
No,
what was
no.
the last movie we saw with you, Joe?
Civil War.
It was Civil War. You were there with us. Oh yeah, it was. We took my mother and your parents out to go see it together.
Yes.
That was what we ended up doing. So we took our parents
Mother's
to go
Day.
see
That
Civil War
Sounds
on Mother's
awesome.
Day.
How many people... Folks, come on. Get out there with your parents, your loved ones, and go take them to see Civil War. That sounds horrible.
Our
Go see
moms
Civil
are
War.
superheroes, so it just made sense on Mother's Day.
Well, me and
Skip
her,
Hamilton.
we went to go. No, do not skip Hamilton.
Oh, boy.
Don't get me started, Greg.
Sorry.
On the cover of Rolling Stone this week is Hamilton, the star of
Yes.
Hamilton. Yeah, it's not going away. It's not going anywhere.
It
It's huge.
shouldn't. I mean, it's amazing.
It's huge.
My friend got me into it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
But back to Civil War.
Back
It
to
did
Civil
come
War.
out during Mother's Day week, didn't it? Because
It
I remember
did.
doing that. That was Mother's Day Sunday, and we went and saw Civil War. The girls and I took Mom out, and we saw Civil War. And we saw it, I can't say this enough, we saw it at the Aloma, it used to be called the Aloma Draft House. We saw it at the Aloma, what's it called now?
It's not the Alumina Drop.
It might still be called the Aloma Draft House, but they run first-run movies there, and tickets are always $5.
Oh.
Adults, kids, doesn't matter. It's like the NZN where they have the tables and chairs. They bring you a menu. You
Oh,
can
they
get
do it like
pizza and
that.
popcorn. $5 to see Civil War the weekend that it came out.
Wow.
It's fantastic to go to that.
That's pretty spiffy, and I'm about to plug the theater here at the Artagon, the Cinemark.
Yes.
On
Oh,
Tuesdays.
the seating.
They do assigned seating with reclining
Oh,
chairs.
it's the best. I saw the
and they
Force
do,
Awakens here.
And
Oh.
they do was it $5.50 movie tickets on Tuesdays?
Excellent.
Tuesday's $5.
Yep, it just can't be opening weekend.
If you get worried about having to sit in the front first or second row of
It
a
doesn't
movie,
matter.
Oh,
don't
it's-
worry about it when you go to the Artigan movie theater because the seats recline and they're leather and it's so nice.
We actually ended up seeing Civil War at the Disney Springs Theater because we couldn't get tickets here.
Yeah.
And because all the seats were sold out. Because you pick your seats in advance. There wasn't
Right.
any seats that
And-
we were like, no, we don't want to spend the money to see that.
It was in their
But
big theater there
when we
too.
were at Disney Springs, we sat down and we were just like, we're missing something. This is not right.
We had to search for seats. We
we
Oh,
had
my
nowhere
goodness.
to put our feet. It was so sad.
They got to step up their game there at
Well,
Disney
you
Springs.
put it on the seat in front of you headrest, right?
Yeah,
that's where you put
not-
your feet.
Traditionally, that is the way it goes. So you were out at I still say Pleasure Island, but the Disney Springs. I'm sure they appreciate you calling it by its correct name when you said that at Disney Springs.
Yes.
We talked about this earlier with one of our other podcasters. Disney Springs. Have you been out there
Yes.
Yes.
recently?
And
that
we love
place
it.
has exploded.
Oh.
It is so much fun to go hang out at Disney Springs.
It is awesome to hang out at Disney Springs. Me and her, we do this as date night all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Geek date night.
With the new parking garage, it's
yeah.
so
Oh.
easy to just kind of park, go,
parking garage,
walk
yes.
around.
Anytime I describe the parking garage to people, their next question always is, how much does it cost to park there? When I tell them it's automated and there's signs that say there's 20 parking spaces this way and 20 that way and there's
It's
green
one of
lights.
it's like $19 because it's Disney, right?
Right.
It
No,
is one of
no
my
charge.
favorite
It's
things
free.
in the new expansion is the parking garage.
And you can get right off
Absolutely.
of I-4, and they've got that ramp now that takes you right into the garage. I mean, how
Yep.
cool is that? Ever since I was younger, when I first came to UCF in the early 90s, I got a job at the movie theater there at Pleasure Island. I've always loved going down there. When it was Pleasure Island,
Yeah.
they did fireworks at night. But now it has just exploded, and it's so much fun to go there and spend a whole night there if you want, a day and an evening for sure.
We've done a lot of filming there as well for stuff that's on our Facebook.
Good.
I think our day 8 video, countdown to MegaCon, was filmed at like right
Disney
when they
Springs.
opened it up.
Right there
all
by
the
the
new
springs.
stuff.
The
Yeah.
whole new section of restaurants and stores just opened up a couple of weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and all the outdoor entertainment they have now too.
Now, we just took my parents to go see it. They hadn't seen the new stuff yet. What did you think of the new area?
Now I get my voice started
Yes.
again.
Welcome to the show.
No, welcome back. Okay. No, it was it's neat because it's relaxing
Yes.
and it's typical Disney. You know, you feel like you're not in, you know, you're in its special place. You know,
Yes.
it's like it's not just a group of shops. You're immersed within an atmosphere.
There's always that
Yeah.
feeling when you walk through the gates and you go down Main Street at Magic Kingdom. But they've even somehow captured that
Yeah,
at Disney
yeah.
Springs, you know, which it doesn't cost anything to go down there. So you're absolutely right.
And that with the restaurants coming in, the
Yeah.
food at Boathouse, if you've ever eaten at the Boathouse, phenomenal food.
Morimoto's.
Morimoto's, we
Morimoto's.
ate there the other day.
I've heard good
Very,
things
very,
about.
very good.
I've heard good things about STK, the steakhouse.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah,
I
either.
haven't been there either, but
We did. We walked around.
We walked
it's
in
a lot
it.
smaller than I thought it was going to be, but
It's just
and-
the
but
first-
There is
it's
an
just like the
area,
top two parts up
like
there, right?
upstairs where there's like a fire pit. So when it gets colder, which
I'm
is
excited
kinda
about the
nice.
Nice place when
Coca-Cola
it gets
building.
colder.
Yes, I see. I mean, you see that under construction
Yeah.
every time you come out of the parking garage. You see it there. So
I
you know.
saw the concept art, and then because they have the concept art pasted
Right there on the
up on the
wall.
walls,
Yeah, I know.
the construction walls, and you see them building it right behind it, and it's like, oh, how are they going to put that
Right.
together?
And it's
'Cause
like-
I'm a big Lego fan.
No pressure, no pressure, construction workers. But here's what it's supposed to look like. You're going to see that every day when you come to work. It's supposed to look like
Exactly.
this.
Don't screw it up.
Right. We always just love to go. Best sandwiches ever, Earl of Sandwich inside
Yes.
Disney Springs.
Yeah.
The lines can be long though.
The
The
holiday
lines are massive,
sandwich.
but they do move.
They do. The lines are
They
they move
move,
quickly, but
Holiday sandwich.
it's
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
to be so
Best thing ever.
They're
popular.
they're-
The whole Disney
the
Springs.
Thanksgiving sandwich.
Yes.
They just call it holiday sandwich.
I don't know. It's
It's
everything
turkey,
about
mashed
holidays
potatoes, gravy,
in a
cranberry
sandwich.
sauce, and like a Dijonaise. Oh,
Love going to Earl of Sandwich. Earl of Sandwich at Disney Springs. I think we just did a commercial.
Pay us.
If we weren't a nerd blog, we'd be a food blog. That's
We're
definitely
foodies,
we're absolute
definitely.
foodies.
Oh, truthfully, you could do a whole series of shows right there at Disney Springs with all the restaurants that are there. I
Pretty
feel like
much.
I've only been to like 10% of the restaurants too.
Yeah.
When you walk down the new streets, the Italian restaurant. I know I've been there before, but I forgot the name of it. Where
The
you can get
Italian
the
one.
outdoor seating, or you can sit indoors. It's so nice to
Italian
go down
restaurant
there.
at Disney Springs?
Yeah.
Which
Is it
Italian
a new
restaurant?
one?
It starts with a P.
Yes, it does. You're
Portobello?
right.
Portobello.
Portobello.
Oh,
Thank
we
you.
were
Oh,
Exactly.
I didn't know you
there.
could sit outside.
It's just so. Oh wait, is there front seating like out front?
I don't
thought
know.
there was.
It's right by. It was right by what was Fulton's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
We have
I
not
thought
eaten
there
there.
was. Maybe I'm thinking of
Oh,
the
look out,
Irish.
kid. She
one
almost-
of the
she almost
robotic
drove-
animals.
She almost drove the animal cart right into the window.
If any age can drive those, by the way, and
Not really.
Well, apparently not.
Apparently
From what Greg
not.
just saw one of the robotic animals just drove past the window at the front entrance of Gods and Monsters. So, by the way, if you're walking around the mall and you happen to have your phone on for some strange reason and you're watching this show, come on over and say hi to us at the Artigan Mall. We're live on Facebook. We're visiting with our friends, A Couple of Geeks, from Talon
And that
Alida.
QR code.
And yeah, scan that QR code. I just finally put that on there. That'll take you right to our YouTube page. And it was great. I found some like create your own QR code app or something, and it was free. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. And so we got it up there because so many people would walk by sometimes and it's like, what are those dummies doing? Now we put a sign up there. At least people know. And now they can have something they can scan as well.
Oh,
But-
so that's what those dummies are doing.
That's what they're doing. Oh, they're doing a podcast. Who isn't? Everyone's got a podcast. So, okay, we've touched on Disney Springs, which again we all say we've loved, and we go to the movie theater there. Sometimes it's out of the way for me now, living in Castleberry, but it's always an event thing to go down to Disney Springs and see a movie in the theater there. I remember seeing Titanic there when it came out, and one of the theaters where you sit up in the balcony
Yes.
section, and it was just huge. I saw the first Spider-Man, I think I saw there,
Oh yeah.
and but then
Remember we
if you're
saw
gonna
Tron
go,
Legacy there. We
oh,
all
I did
went
too.
in
I did
cosplay.
too. God,
I remember
3D.
seeing Armageddon.
Yeah, we saw it in 3D. Oh, that was a great 3D movie.
I
Yeah,
don't-
and it was
I
done.
love that
it was
section. That
done
the
properly.
Oh yeah, when they jump into
Yep.
And then
the
it was
grid
just like, boom,
and
yeah.
everything just
Oh, that was amazing.
flew out of the screen at you.
Ah.
That was awesome.
I'm
Great
so,
effects.
so
Give me
disappointed
chills.
that so far they're not going to be making another Tron movie because they have not had so much success with their live action films. And after that George Clooney movie Tomorrowland came out and it bombed almost immediately, they said we're killing production on the new Tron movie.
What the
We're
hell
just gonna
does one thing
focus-
have to do with the other?
It has to do with live-action films weren't doing as well as their animated films, I guess, or their Pixar and stuff.
They're now going the route of the live-action musicals.
Yes,
That's kind of like where they've kind of turned
the big
that
trailer that's out
instead
kind of
the
right now
action
is
ones.
Beauty and the Beast.
yeah.
That
That
trailer
does look
just saw the
amazing.
looks
teaser.
awesome. Yes,
it
does.
looks interesting. I didn't like Cinderella though.
Yeah,
You know
I
what?
wasn't a big
I
Cinderella
saw that
came and went. I don't even remember
we
it
saw
being
it
in the
actually
theater.
here. My daughters and I saw that, and it's it kind of came and went. It made its money. It got reviewed well.
Oh, but every girl jizzed all over the place
I
as soon
know.
as they saw that one slipper teaser.
know,
That's
yeah,
all they
it's-
needed to see, and it's like
sold, and they're doing the same thing with the trailers for Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
It looks so
the-
good.
the rose
the
and the-
rose petal,
and the-
and it's like
yeah.
they know exactly what they're doing when it comes to making trailers. Can they make the movies good? We'll find out.
Yippee!
See, I
That's
want
awesome.
it if it's a live action. I want it to be darker.
Me
It's-
too.
I don't know.
But it's Disney, so it's not going to be
But
darker.
this Beauty and the Beast one, it feels that way from
It
the
does.
trailer at least.
It
Right.
does. From
It
the
feels
teaser,
like
Okay.
it feels a little dark.
Will
but
will the movie
Suck.
kill Gaston? Will they kill him? Will he go falling off the building and fall to his death?
He has to.
they better.
That's the story.
I
You
don't-
have to.
Right. It's
See,
the story.
like old Disney, I think everyone kind of forgets because you're little and then you grow up and you forget about what you saw when you're little. But old Disney was very dark.
Killing
It
off
was like-
parents left and right.
You're right,
Like,
Bambi.
yeah, like
Oh,
that. They were
The-
not tame movies. They were very dark.
Walking by the
movies.
podcast once again is Todd
What?
Fisher.
I mean, the shadow of who
Where'd
was
he go?
it from Tarzan
Oh,
being
yeah.
hung.
Oh yeah.
That was- That
what
happened.
was his name? Yeah.
Some pretty scary things you
Yeah.
watched as a child.
Exactly.
Scarred
We're,
all of
we're all
us.
scarred. Yeah.
Bambi's mom. Bambi was the first movie I saw in the theater. My grandmother took me. Obviously, it was a re-release. It wasn't my time, but that would have been 1976. I was maybe 5 years old. But
Wow.
Bambi was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, and it was just that gunshot. It's just like it stays with you when you know what that is. And because of my life of crime as a 5-year-old, I knew
Right,
exactly
right,
what
right,
that
of
was.
course,
It was a gunshot. But you're right. Disney movies were darker, and they were supposed to be. When you figure out what the theme of the movie is, and it's an animal living in the woods. That stuff happens.
There was something on Amazon Prime I was watching where it was like the life of Walt Disney. He was talking about that time where they were making those first 5 movies, and that his goal for these movies were not to be necessarily kid friendly, but he was creating art.
He was.
And
Yeah.
I think now that's not so much. It's like we want to
Yeah.
make something beautiful,
Right.
but we want to
Well,
make money.
Your
We
new
wanna-
Star Wars
And that's
movies too
really-
dark. Let's have reshoots.
We want to make they want to make a product that sells to
Yes.
a certain audience.
I think what
Yeah.
happened was they were making art up until
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Yeah.
And then nobody got Fantasia.
Right.
It was too art.
Maybe it was critically acclaimed, but nobody watched it
Right.
because it
From
was
what I
just
understand too, he wanted that to be in like an opera experience as well. So you were supposed to be ushered to your seats. You
Yeah,
had like
it was
you
an
had-
animated film for adults, but that's not what adults did. I mean,
Right.
you were a child. if
Adults
you
didn't
went to
appreciate
cartoons.
animation the way
Yeah.
we do now.
So
For sure.
Have you been to Philhar Magic at Magic Kingdom?
I've done that a couple of years ago. It's been a couple of years, I think.
Fantasia was meant to be like that experience as well,
right.
where there was supposed to be like sensory things that would happen to you as well. I mean, he thought really big,
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was, for the time, he was way ahead of what everybody else is ready for.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
total visionary. If you look back at the sales pitch for what Epcot was supposed to be,
Oh,
totally
yeah.
different than what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so grand in its scale and vision that just
way ahead of its time.
totally impossible. There's
Right.
no way it could have ever possibly happened.
We're under attack, apparently. Oh my God.
Okay, so this
know
is
them. You know
I
them,
remember
don't
them
you?
from the grand opening.
Yep, this is Zach and Beth.
Yeah.
Thank you. Our live podcast has ended.
Oh.
What
Let me
happened?
go hit the reset button on that. Thank you for
Oh,
noticing.
no.
What do you mean
of
it
course.
ended? Why would a podcast end?
What Facebook is weird.
What are we not
Maybe
allowed
we're
to?
doing too much podcast.
Too much fun.
Well, while we have a minute here, I want to try something. See if this actually works. Well, it's
Is
not.
it working?
No, because wait.
Wait. Oh. I hear something.
Do you?
I heard a little bit. I heard a low drone. And it wasn't just the music in the background.
That's weird. I'm trying
Are you trying to pipe it in?
to.
This,
I don't think it wants to.
This is technical stuff. Let's go. Yeah, I hear it.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah, I hear it. Is that from Alice?
this is.
Oh,
So-
that's beautiful.
This is just creepy music that plays throughout the game.
I'm gonna have to go back and play. It was on PC, right?
Yes, PC only. It doesn't sound very good.
We're gonna have to go back and play that.
Yeah, if you can find it, it is a fantastic game. And maybe the graphics are dated because it's a late 2000 game.
People still play Mario.
Yeah.
That's
True.
all. That is all I have to say. Is
If the
graphics?
story is good enough and the gameplay is good enough, the graphics don't really matter so much.
Graphics don't really matter.
That's true. That's true. It's gameplay. It's
Big companies right now, like Electronic Arts and and Activision, seem to think that what sells games is big explosions, Michael Bay and stuff like
I
that.
think it's the same way for movies too.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a good story and it has really perfect graphics,
it'll
then it's
still
not
make
gonna do
tons
as
of
well.
money. It just sucks.
Transformers 4.
Oh.
No, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, it was big and explosion-y and stuff like that, but it was not a good movie.
Well, there was also statutory rape, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
In Transformers 4?
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
that was like the weirdest scene ever.
I missed that on the movie poster. What happened?
There was this whole explanation for like
They
the
took 3
Romeo Juliet law. There was like 5
They
minutes.
took 3 minutes out of the film to explain why this wasn't illegal. That a 20-year-old was sleeping with a 17-year-old, 18-year-old.
No, she was 16, wasn't she?
She's 18 now, but they started dating 2 years prior, so he would have been
Yes, that was right.
22 and she would have been 16.
It was the most
I don't know.
confusing bit there. I just wanted Marky Mark to be like, just shut up and punch him, and let's go with Optimus Prime to blow up the Decepticons. That's what I wanted.
That
I
would've
just
been a
wanted
good-
to see the Decepticons just getting blown up.
That would have been a good scene.
I wanted to get to Grimlock
Just-
earlier.
Well, we're getting close to the top of the hour
Yep,
when our
we need
next
to wrap
guest
this
will
up.
arrive.
Ooh, who do you guys
So
have
once
coming
again,
next?
who's coming in the 4 o'clock hour? Let's scroll through and look.
You've
But-
got the...
But while I'm doing that, once again, one last time, tell us where we can find a couple of geeks.
Right
We
there.
are on
Look,
Facebook.
right there.
Yes, you're on
We're
Facebook.
right here, right now.
We're right here.
We're at the Artagon, so if you're looking for us, that's where we are right
That's
now.
correct.
No, but you can find us on Facebook, A Couple of Geeks, and we're on Instagram and Twitter.
And YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Yep,
everywhere.
We have that too.
We got more podcasters coming up in the 4 o'clock hour from Nerding Out About.
Nice.
I've been on their show once before. They like to do movie reviews, and they podcast. That's what the kids do these days, right? Everybody
That's what they
podcasts.
do.
Now, my dad actually has a cosplay page on Facebook as well. so
Really?
you can find
Please
him
plug that
at-
for us. Let us know where people can find that.
Joe Miller. What's it?
Joe Miller cosplayer, the
she
War
said it.
Doctor, I think,
That's it.
or
The War Doctor,
cosplayer.
yes. Very big with the Doctor Who, for sure.
Yes.
How far back does your Doctor Who knowledge go back? Do you watched it back in the 60s, 70s?
Tom Baker.
Tom
There you
Baker.
go. That was
Although I
Three,
have,
right?
I have some DVD.
Four.
Four.
Okay.
Was he the one with the afro?
Afro.
Okay,
big-
I watched
Afro
those as
scarf.
well.
And the
yes.
scarf.
Friend of mine, we would always watch those. It was on PBS
It
back
was.
then? Yeah.
And they would
BBC.
stick the whole story arc all together.
Yep.
And it was funny because once I started buying the DVDs
Mm-hmm.
for that, they were the half-hour shows. And I was like, whoa! And then it made actually even more sense because all the cliffhangers.
Yep.
At the
Oh,
end of
God, the
each of the-
cliffhangers. What's it like now to go back and watch those episodes?
Oh, it's fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah, I got a big stack at home.
Yeah.
so.
The technology and computer graphics have gotten much better than they were back then, which
But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Well,
There's
thank
like-
you.
Yeah, there's like one episode where there's a guy literally wrapped in bubble wrap.
Bubble
straight
wrap.
from
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Crawling on the floor.
Hey man, that was high tech.
Oh yeah, speaking of going back and like looking at like crazy old, slightly newer things, one of the things I would have loved to have talked about this earlier, but Star Trek Continues.
Oh, my gosh.
the one on CBS.
The one
No.
on YouTube.
Oh, the one on YouTube, the
yes,
fan one.
with
The
Vic.
web- the
with,
web-
with Vic.
web
How do
fan
you say his
series.
name, Christian? Vic
Vic
Mignogna.
Magno something.
Mignogna.
I don't know why he.
Vic
yes,
ad nauseum.
But it's basically old Star Trek, but
Right.
just redone, and it's amazing.
And it
New
is. I've
stories.
seen the clips
It's
from it, and it is amazing. Are they having any kind of legal issues right now? Are they being stopped, or
think
are they
so,
allowed to
no.
move forward?
well, they did a Kickstarter, I believe. Or,
right,
and
right, and they did very well with the Kickstarter,
they
didn't
did
they?
great.
Yeah.
They've just released their 6th episode.
At MegaCon.
That's
At
so
MegaCon.
awesome.
Yep.
So awesome.
He was Vic was there signing autographs and stuff like that with a lot of other people. They had a statue of the creature that's in the 6th episode as well.
Did you realize that's what that was? Because we hadn't seen the episode until we came home, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, that was the big statue that was right next to him by the table."
Have you seen those episodes that they're referring to on the internet? It's so cool to watch
Actually-
somebody have
Oh,
an
yeah.
appreciation
He
for.
recommended it because I had heard about it a few years ago, and I was like, "Oh, that might be something cool to watch." And then I completely forgot about it. And then my dad was like, "Hey, have you watched these like about 2 months ago or a month ago?" And I'm like, "No." And then we binge watched them within
It's
like
amazing.
one
that
night.
They put all this work into that, and they had a Kickstarter campaign, and I could just click a button and just watch it. You know, it's like,
Well, I mean, that's how they wanted it to be. They wanted to be able to just present it,
oh, it's
which is awesome.
It's
And
so
if
well
you-
done.
It's like that's what I like about. There's a lot of other things like Patreon and stuff like that that's going on right now, where you can.
that's popular now.
You can fund your favorite entertainers. You can fund your favorite content creators to say, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Please keep doing this." If everybody gives $1, hey, that makes a lot more shows. And when people are doing that, hey, that works.
People need to fund their favorite podcast.
Yeah.
Send us money.
Exactly.
Help.
You got that.
I mean, look at all
or
these
beer.
wires and mess. We're a mess. We need help. Well, thank you for the three of you. Thank you for finding your dad. He was out wandering around the store. You brought him up to tell stories with us. Every Friday, we know we do our shows. We'd like to have you guys back again. And if
Sure.
you're in town, do you live in
Yeah, we'd
town?
love to.
You do live in town. If you guys are ever in the area, and Gods and Monsters again on a Friday night, we'll have you come by again and visit with us. We'll kind of periodically keep up with you to see how the podcast is going. It's not a podcast, though. It's a blog.
The blog.
Facebook page.
It's a whole
See
thing.
how the
It's-
Facebook page
right.
is going.
Well, thank you for visiting with us. Our next guest is coming up at the top of the hour here in just 1 minute. So thanks for visiting with us.
Yeah, thank you for having
We're
us.
not going to commercial because we don't have any, and we're just going to bring the next guest in.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
I did want to plug myself later
Please.
tonight though. If you guys are coming here to Gods and Monsters tonight, 9 o'clock, this guy is going to be DJing from 9 to 10.
In the back?
In the back.
Okay, you'll be in the back. Will you stay through the costume contest? You
I
staying?
probably will.
I think that
I'm
starts at 10.
It does start at 10. More than likely, we were thinking if they need me to run late, of course I'll play a little bit more music.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So I'm going to be playing some electronic dance, just whatever I feel
All
like.
right, Talon will be in the back room doing some DJing. Is that right? DJing?
Yeah.
Yep.
In
It's a
the
verb.
back at 9 o'clock this evening. If you're coming here for the costume contest, look out for him. He'll be there in the jacket and tie, and he'll be DJing for you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
so
visiting
much.
with
Thank you,
us.
Art. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Woo, see, we successfully had 3 guests at one time,
Yeah.
plus the 2 of us. I mean, once again, you're not in the shot, Greg, but
That's okay.
uh-oh, someone's turning the music up. You hear that?
Yeah. Who's doing that?
I don't know, but I might sneak back over there and turn the dial. They've got separate dials for throughout the store, and it said like front left or front right. I just went like and turned it down because when the music is like this. Thank you guys. When the music is like this, it.
Times of work and death.
Wait, is that you? You're screwing with me. That's you.
This is the
Is this
Chris,
from the game?
This is Chris
Right.
Verena doing the music.
He was with Trent Reznor during the Fragile tour, I think, and it just it's my favorite album. I know I heard you say in the past that the Fragile you were kind of meh on that album, but I listened to it so much. It's my favorite Trent Reznor album. It's an epic.
How
it's
can you
epic
pick a favorite?
disc. You're right. How can you pick a favorite?
It's
Woo!
tough.
So
tough
coming
day.
up now, we never did get Kimmy and the other one back over here, probably because they saw that our guests were all here, and our next guest will be showing up from the 4 to 5 o'clock hour from Nerding Out About. I did get a message from one of them that Kevin is coming. Hutch is not. No, Hutch is coming.
Hutch, I remember that name.
They were here, and they came with us during the grand opening. They sat. Their
Yeah.
podcast is Nerding Out About. One of
All
them
right.
is sick, so the other one is coming, and that's coming up in this hour. So Facebook Live looks good right now. Oh, you know what? I need to stop the YouTube because I know that is about to be full. You have
Okay.
another little
Yeah,
chip?
I do. I have to get it out of my box.
So Facebook, don't hang up with us. We're still here. I'm just going to step away for a moment. We're just going to update the cameras and hit record again.